grade 10. Today, we will be learning a new chapter, Systems of Equations. So we learned how to solve equations, one-step equations and two-step equations. So today, we're going to learn how to solve system of linear equations. So do you guys remember how to solve a one-step equation? For example, so when you have x plus 5 equals 7. What is x? So to solve the equation, we subtract 5 from each side. Then this will be gone. X is 2. So the answer is 2. So this is how you solve a one-step equation. So your goal is to isolate x to find the answer. So what about two-step equations? So for example, when you have 2x plus 5 equals 11, to solve the equation, what you do is you isolate 2x, isolate the term with x first. So you basically subtract 5 from each side. This will be gone. Then 2x will be 11 minus 5. That is a 6. And you divide both sides by 2 because you want to get rid of this 2. So that will be x equal to 6 divided by 2 will be 3. So this is how you solve a two-step equation. So in both cases, we had only one variable. We had only x. But systems of equation, it has two variables, x and y, or other letters. It has a two variable, and when you have two variables, to solve the equation, you should have two equations. So when you have only one variable, you only need one equation to solve the question. But when you have two variables like this, x and y, to solve the equation, you should have two equations, right? Okay, so here, look at the first question. I have two variables and two equations. So to solve the question, what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate one of the variable. So isolate one variable in one equation. So this one is easy to isolate because y has coefficient 1. So we're going to isolate y. So to isolate y, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this one, 2x. To get rid of plus 2x, subtract 2x from each side. Then that will be y equals 4 minus 2x. So y is isolated, all right? After that, what I'm going to do is I want you to look at the first question. Here, I have 3x minus 4, y equals negative 5. We know y is equal to 4 minus 2x. So what I'm going to do is instead of using y, I'm going to use bracket 4 minus 2x. Okay? So again, everyone, we know y is 4 minus 2x, right? So if it is confusing, you can just put bracket around it. So y is bracket 4 minus 2x. And using this equation, instead of using y, we're going to use this bracket because they are the same. So instead of writing y here, we're writing bracket 4 minus 2x. Now look at this. This one is just one equation with one variable. All right, so let's solve this. So 3x minus 4, you have to distribute this. Minus 4 times 4, negative 4 times negative 2x. So negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. And negative 4 times negative 2x. That is, negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8x. So distribute it equals negative 5. And everyone, what I have to do is collecting the like terms. 3x plus 8x, which is 11x minus 16 equals negative 5. Okay, 11x minus 16. So we're going to find x. To do that, we have to add the 16 on both sides. Then 11x, this will be gone, equals negative 5 plus 16, which is 11. So everyone, 11x equals 11. So what's hiding in between 11 and x? Multiplication is hiding. Okay, then I'm going to divide both sides by 11. Then everyone, x is 11 divided by 11. That is 1. So x is 1. So we're not done. We found x. And using this, we have to find y. Alright? Okay, so we already have an equation with y isolated. So we're going to use this equation. Or you can just use one of those equations, alright? So we already have this equation. I'm just going to simply plug that in. So y equals, we know y equals 4 minus 2x. So we're just going to plug 1 into x, alright? So we're going to plug 1 into x. We know multiplication is hiding here. Then y equals 4 minus 2 times 1. Bad mess. 2 times 1 equals 2. 4 minus 2 equals 2. So the answer is x equals 1, y equals 2. This is called substitution method. So when I ask you to solve the equation by substitution, first step, you have to isolate one variable in one equation. So like I did here, I isolated y. And substitute equation from step 1 into the other equation. I plug the bracket into y. Solve for the variable. So solve for the variable means find x, solve for x. Once one variable is found, once x is found, substitute to either equation to find the second variable. So I substitute x into one of those equations to find y. So this is your final answer, okay? So you always need to find both x and y because we have two variables and our goal is to find both x and y. So let's check the answer graphically. So here's a graphing software. So I'm just going to simply type 3x minus 4y equals negative 5. And y plus 2x equals 4. Here, if you look at this, where are they intersecting? They're intersecting here. X value is 1 and y value is 2. X equals 1, y equals 2. And the answer was x equals 1 and y equals 2, like this, right? So we can check the answer graphically, or you can also plug those two numbers into x and y and see if you get negative 5. Plug that in, see if you get positive 4. So there are multiple ways to check your answers, right? Okay, next question. Solve by substitution. Look at the first one. 4x plus y equals negative 5. 2x plus 3y equals 5. Which variable would you like to isolate? Do you want to isolate x or y? So in this case, y, if you isolate y here, that would be a lot easier because y has coefficient 1. So very simple if you isolate this y, all right? So from the first equation, 4x plus y equals negative 5, we're going to isolate y. To do that, I'm going to get rid of 4x. Okay, in front of 4x, what's the sign of 4x? Plus, positive. So to get rid of 4x, I have to subtract minus 4x minus 4x. Then that will be y equals negative 4x minus 5. Okay, so y is isolated. So it's better to just put bracket around it. And what you're going to do is from the second equation, which is 2x plus 3y equals 5, we're going to substitute this y. We're going to substitute this bracket into y. Okay, so instead of writing y, instead of using y, we're going to use negative 4x minus 5 because y is same as this bracket, right? Okay, then 2x plus 3 negative 4x minus 5 equals 5. So now we have only one variable and one equation. So let's distribute it. 2x plus 3 times negative 4, that is negative 12x. 3 times negative 5, that's negative 15, equals 5. Okay, 2x plus negative 12x, that is negative 10x minus 15 equals 5. Okay, let's get rid of negative 15 because we want to isolate negative 10x. So plus 15, so that will be negative, negative 10x equals 5 plus 15 becomes 20. Divide both sides by negative 10. Then x will be isolated. 20 divided by negative 10 is negative 2. So x is negative 2. And now we're going to choose one of the equation to find y. So which one do you like to choose? So let's choose this equation. So we actually modified this equation in this form. So y is isolated. So we're going to just use this equation. So y equals negative 4x minus 5, right? And we know that x is negative 2. So we're going to plug negative 2 into x. Then y will be negative 4 times negative 2 minus 5, right? Then y is positive 8 minus 5. Then y will be 8 minus 5, which is 3. So therefore, x is negative 2 and y is a 3. So we write it, x equals negative 2, y equals 3. So this is the final answer. Okay? Again, let's check the equation. Let's check the answer using a graphing software, right? So here, let's type 4x plus y equals negative 5. 4x plus y equals negative 5. So it is a linear graph. and 2x plus 3y equals 5. Again, this is a linear graph. And the intersection, x is -2, y is +3. So that is exactly same as our answer. X is -2, y equals 3. Okay? So we learned how to graph linear equations. In the last chapter, we learned how to graph this linear equations. So there are a couple methods. There are more than a couple methods to solve systems of equations. So one of the methods is finding the answer using substitution, or you can also find the answer using graph. Or next class, we're going to learn another method. So we're learning 3 methods. So if you remember how to graph, we just learned that. You should remember this. How to graph linear equation using like slope-intercept form, using how to like find the slope and do rise over run. Graph it, and if you find the intersection, that is the answer for the system. Okay? Okay, let's move on to the next question. So create a linear system to model the situation. Nuri invested $2,000, part at an annual interest rate of 8%, and the rest of an annual interest rate of 10%. After 1 year, total interest was $190. How much money did Nuri invest at each rate? Okay, so to solve the question, we have to define our variable. So you're always starting this kind of question using a let statement. Let x be the amount of money Nuri invested at an annual rate of 8%. So this is x. And we're going to define y. Let y be the amount of money Nuri invested at an annual rate of 10%. Let y be blah 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 at an rate of 10%. Okay? Then everyone, she invested $2,000. Then everyone, when you add those two amounts, what number do you have to get? $2,000. Because in total, that is $2,000. Okay, then it says the rate of 8%. Okay, so she invested 8% x dollars at a 8% of the annual rate. Okay, so 8%, the interest will be 8% of x. So 8%, everyone, how would you change 8% to decimal number? So that is 0.08, is that right? So x times 0.08 plus y times 10%, that is 0.10. Y times 0.10. And that is the amount of the interest. That is $190. So you make two equations. As I said, when you have two variables, you should have two equations. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate one of the variable. So far we have only isolated y. So I'm just going to isolate x this time. Okay? So x plus y equals 2,000. Then I'm going to subtract y from each side. Then x will be 2,000 minus y. X is isolated. And everyone, let's just simplify this equation first before we use it. So I'm just going to write 0.08 first. 0.10y equals 190. So here, from here, we're going to use 2000 minus y instead of x, okay? Then 0.08, 2000 minus y plus 0.10y equals 180. So finally, we have only one variable and one equation. Okay, so let's distribute it. Okay, 0.08 times 2000, which is 160. You can just use your calculator if you cannot do mental math. So 0.08 times negative y, then that will be minus 0.08y plus 0.10y, 180. Okay, 160 minus 0.08y plus 0.10y, that will be plus 0.02y equals 180. Okay, so we want to isolate this. Minus 160 minus 160, right? Then 0.02y equals 180 minus 160, which is 20. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to divide both sides by 0.02. 0.02. Then the answer will be $1,000. So y equals 1,000. Now, if y equals 1,000, we should find x. Okay? So here, x plus y equals 2,000. Then what is x? So you will have x equals 2,000 minus y. So we know x equals 2,000 minus y. So x will be 2,000 minus 1,000. Then x is 1,000. Alright? So x and y are both 1,000. X is 1,000 and y is 1,000. So she invested $1,000 at a rate of 8% and another $1,000 at a rate of 10%. Okay? Alright, so that is it for today, everyone. So now I want you to start doing your homework. Thanks for watching. Bye!